I'm going to spend a few moments and hopefully create you a few videos that will give you some of my thoughts and insights as to how we can survive as a production company, business, a creative in this difficult, complex COVID-19 lockdown world, but also the new world that's coming after. So firstly, I'd like to apologise. I have been quiet, right? It's because I decided that I was going to take some time out and really just focus on my business. What I did may help you, okay? I decided to stop looking at myself as a video production business, i.e. thinking of myself as using the medium of video as a commodity. I decided instead to look for a problem and then create a solution for which video, or in my case virtual reality, became the solution. Does that make sense? Often as a production company, what we may end up doing is servicing agencies, right? We may essentially, as a freelancer, also serve agencies. But what's interesting about an agency is how they look at things. A production company tends to look at itself as a factory. Don't look at yourself as a factory. So what I mean by this, we basically may make the mistake of looking at what we do and thinking, we make things, right? We have got tools in the same way that a factory has got robots, mechanics and tools and assembly lines in order to be able to deliver a product at the end of it. And as a result, I believe that the majority of filmmakers and I believe that the majority of production companies are looking at themselves as a factory. But that is the wrong way of looking at it. When you look at a brand, okay, and when you look at, let's take for example, Tesla. Tesla is essentially a car manufacturer, right? In essence, most of their real estate is dedicated to the factory. But what are they selling? What they're selling is not the factory. What they're actually selling is a inspirational vehicle that allows you to travel and get where you need to go, but to do so in a way that potentially in the long run saves you money, but also really saves the planet. And it's also a group. The owners are in a group amongst the most innovative. Okay? Can you see the difference? They're not selling the factory. Okay? That's their production. They have a production company, yes, but it's not what they're selling. In a way, what they're doing is they're focusing, as most business should do, on the problem that they're solving, and they're creating a solution. So in this time that we're living in right now, I encourage you to look at your business, but try and find a problem to solve in which video becomes part of the solution. Does that make sense? Okay. If this resonates with you, please hit the like. If this type of content is useful to you, also hit subscribe. If there's a notification bell, also hit notification bell, because I will probably just make a limited series of videos and I would love you not to miss out. I'll give you an idea of how I did this. So we, for Vivida, we've been creating videos, right, over a number of years, but we realized that really what we were doing is we were telling stories, but we were telling stories that helped people understand complex subjects, okay? So I say to people, as I take subjects that people find complex, people find boring, and people apathetic towards that subject because they hear that message over and over again, okay? So all of a sudden we've gone from an audience that's that big, but to also doing something that's a little bit more specific, okay? And what do Vivida do? We take that. It comes into Vivida as boring, complex, hard to understand, but by the time it comes out of Vivida, it comes out as something that's engaging, exciting, memorable, and we make that content matter. In a way, the medium of video didn't become so important anymore. That's why we spent years of development and R&D developing for the Oculus Rift systems, virtual reality, okay? The reason being is one of the most powerful ways of us creating that change, creating that understanding was in essence to use virtual reality in order to have someone live the story and live the experience. And that's in essence why we've been a bit quieter, because what we've been doing has been more difficult to show. But can you understand what the difference is there? Okay. Now, I'm like many of you, I'm going through a time now where you can imagine I've got staff, we've invested heavily in virtual reality, and the world has stopped for a moment, redefining itself, and then it's going to unlock itself and continue on. And the value set, or the value set now, or the value set before, now and after, in a way will stay similar, right? But the difference is the deployment mechanism may end up changing. So for us, yes, I sit here with virtual reality going, oh dear, what do we do? But then because I'm focused not on the factory, I'm focused on the solution. Now I'm in a position where we start to adapt. Okay. So look at this new world that we're living in and the one that we're going into, and understand what people need. Okay. Video in a way isn't what people need. Photography is not what people need. It's merely the output or tool that gets them what they need. Does that make sense, right? So in a way, if you were to look at the problem that people have got right now, okay? So business owners, okay, that may be in your target audience right now are struggling. Why? Because all of a sudden, marketing and advertising that used to be done on signage and billboards is no longer relevant to them right now. Why? Because everyone's still in lockdown. They're not free to travel. So what do they have as a medium? They have online. So at the moment, they need to find ways of upping their content online. Why? Because that's where people are. That's their problem. Okay. What content can they consume? It includes video content, it includes photography. Brilliant. But now there's another problem. The problem is that we may not be able to, as a production company, create media and content in quite the same way as we have done before. But we still have the tools to solve the problem. If we think about the problem, then all of a sudden, yes, we change elements to do with the factory. So I know for some, they'll think, can we create content that doesn't rely on face-to-face interaction? Can we create content from a distance? Can we take content from our customers, okay, that they create on Zoom calls, that they create with their mobile phones, and can we take that and can we then re-edit it using storytelling structure to create an output? Can you see that when you start to think about the problem and the need, we understand that we've got the skills and the factory, but we may have to just change how the factory operates to create an output. So I hope that's helpful. Key thing, as you sit in this lockdown period, think about what people need. Think about what the problem is. Then look at your tool sets and understand how you solve their problem. Subscribe, like, and I will create you some more content.